3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, guys? So James Gunn hit me with a whirlwind. I just found out like 48 hours ago that there was something going on with DC, that there was something some announcement coming out about the new future plans. And I expected Instagram, Twitter post about news about the Superman movie, news about the Flash movie, news about maybe 1 or 2 projects. I was not expecting this at all. James Gunn was not only honest, he was not only exciting, he was refreshing. When have you ever heard a CEO like Kevin? When have you ever heard Kevin Feige talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe the way that we common folk talk about Marvel Cinematic Universe and how we talk about movies and how they're going and whatnot? Like, he talked about it. He's like, guys, I know that up until recently, like, it's been very disconnected. It's been a lot of loose holes and plot holes and things like that, and there's no real structure and connectivity between the DC universe so far. But I'm here to say that we're bringing that to an end and we're doing stuff moving forward. That was the first thing. I just want to say that was refreshing. James, I love you, man. I love you so much, man. Because you're just like, you're a real comic book fan. Like, you really know how to just be a person, but also know how to not say things in order to, run a business properly. But you're up close, you're personal, you're on Twitter answering questions like, hey, are we ever going to get to see Condiment King in the DC universe? And you're just like, no. But that was like the best 5 minutes of my day so far, which says a lot because it's like 2:00. But I mean, nonetheless, it was fun. It was fun to see that information. It was interesting to hear the projects that are going on. This Waller project that they got going on. Hold on, let me pull up the. Okay, so I pulled up the video again. First project he talked about was Creature Commandos, a TV animation project. Right off bat, the image that we're being shown, I don't know if this is a comic book panel, an old comic book, or if this is some, image from the actual show that's in pre-production. They're still working on something, right? Either way, Frankenstein's wife, it looks like Robot from Doom Patrol. Weasel's back. That looks like Diablo from the first Suicide Squad movie. And I don't know who these... Ma'am? I want to think that it's Rick Flag, but because I'm pretty confident in the fact that James Gunn isn't going to reset his Suicide Squad movies. With that being said, if that's the case, it wouldn't make sense that this is Rick Flag because of the fact that Rick is dead in the last Suicide Squad movie, unless it takes place before. That movie, they never really established when that movie takes place. That show, and then to hear that all of this 7 character lineup, which is probably we know for certain Sean Gunn is coming back, because if this is Weasel, Sean Gunn voices Weasel. So at bare minimum, we have 6 new characters that are being brought into the DC universe that are coming from animation and being brought in as live action actors. That is freaking amazing to me. I have been saying that for the longest. Why wouldn't the MCU bring in certain actors, or something like X-Men 97, have all new voice actors, same storyline, new voice actors, and those voice actors are going to double as the characters that they get played as in something like a Secret Wars or a Loki season 2 or wherever they show up in the future. But ooh, that's exciting to see that that someone in Marvel or DC is finally like, yes, let's do this. That's so cool to me. I wish more studios would do this. I wish it would be more popular. It would be such a cool idea. To see the amazing the Spider-Verse do it, with all their actors, from Nicolas Cage to Gwen Stacy, like though. This is gonna be a fun project, and I can't wait to see it. Also, this lineup Mr. and Mrs. Frankenstein, looks like Diablo, some Aqua lady, I don't know who this Rick Flag Captain America lookalike is, and Weasel and what looks like maybe Robot, but also maybe not Robot. I don't know. It's just an interesting pair. It's an interesting Odyssey type of situation. Very much, what's that one movie called? It's like Gentleman something something. A Gentleman's League or something like that. Let me see if I can get it to come up. Gentleman's League movie. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah, that's the vibe that I'm getting off of this project when looking at this lineup of like monsters, robots, and just oddities all around. That's what I'm getting off of this. Now, next project he outlined is that Waller, played by Viola Davis, is going from live action to animation. She's going to be accompanied by a bunch of other, okay, it's a comic book panel, but now I'm reading this. It says TV live action. Okay, cool. Live action project, cool. But she's going to be accompanied by the members of the Peacemaker team. They're going to be working with her, and that storyline's being written. I'm interested to see what they're going to do, if they're going to incorporate her daughter, what Waller has in store for us. Are we going to be able to sympathize with Waller, or is Waller just going to be this villain that we follow around trying to do some good in some manner, but we hate her in the process as she does it? Because that's all Waller ever really has been to my depiction of what she was. The only time I ever sympathized or was able to have some sort of respect for Waller was when she purposefully took Bruce Wayne's DNA, because she knew that Bruce Wayne would die, but the world would always need, especially Gotham, would always need a Batman. So she purposefully took Bruce's DNA in the TV shows, the DC animated shows, and had the Project Batman Beyond. I think that's exactly what it's called. It's called Project Batman Beyond, and they genetically altered this couple's code so that, yes, technically Terry McGinnis's parents are his parents, but he's also technically speaking Batman's son. Genetically speaking, even down, it's ingrained in him to be like the Batman. But nonetheless, right? Superman Legacy. The Superman Legacy project is what all the talk is. James seems very excited about this project, and I'm excited to see where he'll go with this project. He's talking about doing a younger Superman, so that title of saying Superman Legacy is interesting. Then, moving on with the Super Family, he brings up freaking Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. I gotta read this comic now, because he's talking about it's based off of a comic from last year. I want to see what he's talking about, how this fits into the picture, and what that's going to relate to Superman Legacy. Are we gonna get a tie-in? Is it gonna be the same chick that's about to play Supergirl in the new Flash movie that he says he's also excited about seeing? That's a whole nother thing. But I wonder if those characters are going to, or she's going to make a reappearance, because she doesn't have really any ties. She's in the one Flashpoint movie. You could easily write her off as being played by the same actor, different version of the character, yada, 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 all this, that, and the other. Freaking The Lanterns is finally coming, and I only have 3 things for it. Do my boy Jon Stewart right. Hal Jordan, okay, cool. Do my boy John right, okay? Because when I tell you that CW John Diggle Green Lantern thing was the biggest disappointment ever, man, get that up out of here, bro. I'm thoroughly excited for this Jon Stewart, and they say that it's supposed to be they're discovering something on Earth, like cops and whatever. They're just space cops. They're cops. They got powers. They're on Earth. Something happens. They discover it. It's like, oh my God, what is this? That's gonna be interesting to see. Another project that's interesting, Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost. I don't know what this is about, but I'm down, because we haven't seen the true Amazons since 2017. It's mad overdue. The Amazons were I remember seeing that and then seeing Black Panther in 2018 and being like, yo, between the Dora Milaje and them Amazons, the women are killing it. Forget the man. I don't need no Batman, no Daredevil, no. I just need the Dora Milaje and the Amazons. They gonna take care of your boy. Like, it was very, very well done how they fought together, the unison they fought together. I'm interested to see what people are gonna think about how the Greeks fight at a certain extent, because in all reality, after reading, this is a whole nother tangent. I became a big Percy Jackson fan in 2021, and reading Heroes of Olympus and how Jason and not Piper, Hazel, Frank, and Jason are from the Roman side of things, right? And how the Romans and Spartans, they were very militaristic. Not materialistic, but military minded. So they moved in groups and uniforms and with synchrony and whatnot. The Greeks were the opposite. They were very sporadic. They were very all over the place. A lot of skill sets that they know how to work together. True, but they aren't as form file and organized as the Romans were when they fought. But from what I remember of Wonder Woman, the Amazons that are Greek, from Greek mythology, fight like Romans. At least basing it like what I'm visually seeing and remembering from that beach scene versus what I remember from the books about how it's described that Jason in the 5th cohort fought. How it's described about how Frank led the centurions and the armies of the Roman dead in book 4 in House of Hades. That's what I remember, and I'm visualizing, and I'm like, yeah, that matches with how the Amazons fought. So it'll be interesting to see this show just for the action alone. I wonder what characters they're going to bring up. Is Donna Troy going to make an appearance? Is her mother going to be a central part of this? Are they going to introduce, what's her name? Yo, hold on. Wait a minute. I feel bad for not knowing her name at all. It's something like mad stupid that's like, yep, this is a black woman. Nubia, yeah. Princess Nubia, Wonder Woman's black sister. Are they going to introduce that character into the show? They didn't establish or show that it was like, yeah, a Paradise Island has nothing but white folks on it. But like, it would be interesting to see if Nubia ever makes an appearance within the show or not. Is Paradise Lost going to tap into the Greek side of things? Are we going to get to see Hercules? Are we going to get the mention of Shazam? Like, there are so many possibilities by going back to Themyscira, and not just for a short period of time like they did in Wonder Woman or in Zack Snyder's Justice League. They're really going to have to dive into it because the title alone implies that they're losing their home. So something about their history and some enemy, because, they've been secluded for years. Some enemy, probably from their past, is going to rip them away from everything they know, their heritage, their home, their culture, all that. That's what's implied by the name itself. And that's exciting to see. How's Wonder Woman going to feel about that when it all happens, when it's all said and done? Ooh, now this is interesting. The Authority. I have to find out what this is, because this looks interesting, to say the least. This looks very interesting. And in all honesty, I cannot remember, for the life of me, I can't remember if The Authority is Marvel or DC Comics. I can't. Because I've been doing a lot of like, what's it called? I've been doing a lot of interesting research into, what's his name? John Hickman, I believe it is. John Hickman's run of the Avengers, and and what that led into the 2015 crisis and how that all played out. And it is interesting, not only how it played out, but when they went to another Earth and came across this alternate version of the Justice League that, like, it was a knockoff Justice League of essentially, that had been stopping all these incursions and stopping their Earth from dying. And it was like, okay, how is the Avengers gonna fight what is essentially their Justice League in Secret Wars? Yeah. How are they gonna fight what is essentially the Justice League in their multiverse, essentially, right? So I'm interested to know. I just looked it up. It's not the they're not from Marvel Universe. They're from DC, but nonetheless, it would be awesome to see something along this lines, to see something like this in the MCU, as well too, those characters. But given that this looks like some sort of alternate version of the Avengers, not the Avengers, I mean the Justice League, I'm interested to see if this is going to play into the darker themes of things. I'm interested to see if instead of using the crime syndicate from Earth 3, or using what's it called, the Justice Lords from the DC animated universe. I'm wondering if James is using the Authority as a way to create what the crime syndicate and what the Justice Lords were for the the Justice League, essentially an evil copy of them that tick for tat. Each team has a version of themselves. You had Ultraman and Superman, Owlman and Batman. I think her name was Power Woman and Wonder Woman. Like, you had all those characters. So I'm wondering if that's where they're starting with this, and this is why it's being called that. The Batman movie is going to be interesting. Batman, they didn't tell us much about it except that it's called The Brave and the Bold, which, how has it been that we have had, when was the first Batman, live action Batman? Let's see, live action Batman. Yeah, live action Batman. Who was the first? Lewis Wilson was the first actor to don the cape and the cowl in Batman in 1943. Now, the most infamous version is the 1966 Batman TV show, Batman the movie starring Adam West, that turned into, Batman the TV show, starring Adam West. So, since 1943, so 80 years worth of media. 80 years worth of media, dozens, at least a dozen movies, God knows how many, three to four different TV shows, it looks like, between these two originals, Lewis, Laurie, West, who else had a show? David Mazouz, he had a TV show. Yeah. Kevin Conroy was in the crossover, so I'll give him that. Those 4 live action TV shows. Out of all of those projects that we've had, not one of them have ever been called, no live action project has been called Batman the Brave and the Bold, or just The Brave and the Bold. None of them have ever been called that. That's atrocious to me. Come on. Stop calling it The Dark Knight. Stop calling it The Batman. Now, Matt Reeves' The Batman, woo, that was crazy. It was a crazy show. Crazy title. Crazy movie. But this, I'm interested. I'm interested in seeing what this is and what this project is. Skipping all the way to Damian Wayne is great. It's perfect. It allows for you to then age him up. He can become Robin, and you can still age up Bruce and introduce Carrie Kelly if you wanted to down the line. But you still leave it where you can establish a Tim Drake, you can establish a Dick Grayson, you establish a Red Hood without having to go through, he became Robin and then became this character. He became Robin and then died and then came back as Red Hood. You don't have to do any of that. You can just boop, he's there, right? So that'll be interesting to see. Now, the last thing that's interesting, Spitfires, Swamp Thing, Booster Gold, And there's something else. Something else is being done. Swamp Thing, Booster Gold. Okay, I think it was just Swamp Thing and Booster Gold. Those are interesting projects. I'm interested to see where they'll go with that. If I had to guess, because he didn't talk about it, the Booster Gold project is probably going to tie into Blue Beetle. Jaime Reyes' Blue Beetle. And it'll probably be that either that Ted Cord had a history with that Blue Beetle, with that Ted Cord, the previous Blue Beetle, is going to get mentioned in Jaime's movie, and then that character is going to be fleshed out more in Booster Gold, or maybe they'll completely remove Ted Cord and have it where Booster Gold interacts with Jaime Reyes. I wouldn't care either way, but nice to see that Booster Gold's getting the recognition he needs. The Swamp Thing is going to be interesting, especially since DC is going to be able to go a lot darker with the project than Marvel ever could. Now, why they keep doing Swamp Thing, I have no freaking clue. That Swamp Thing TV show, like, I have not heard, like, yo, man, you got to go watch that Swamp Thing TV show. It's dope, bro. It's crazy, bro. I haven't heard that about Swamp Thing. So I don't know as to why we're specifically like, yeah, we're doing a Swamp Thing project. Now, what I do know, at least on the Marvel side of things, is that Man-Thing, who's basically the exact same character as Swamp Thing. Man-Thing, same powers, same intellect, same everything, same I want to protect the green. But on top of that, he also happens to be that he protects part of the green that is the literal doorway to the multiverse. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's happening. I don't know if Swamp Thing is going to be pulling from the TV show, or if they're going to reboot it again. And it seems like it's being made into a movie now that I'm looking at more stuff. This is going to be fun. It's going to be fun either way. But notice he talks about at the very beginning of the video, and I'm going to close with this. Before I close with this, notice that he has a Batman movie lined up. He has a Superman movie lined up. He has not a Wonder Woman movie, but a Wonder Woman-esque project lined up. There's your Trinity. He's starting off with the Trinity, even though he's putting a heavy focus on these characters that are not Trinity centered, you know? The Authority, Green Lantern, Amanda Waller, Swamp Thing, this Creature Commandos group. I think Creature Commandos is James trying to get in on the mystic side of things and the oddity side of things, which is where he shines the most with like Guardians and Suicide Squad. He shines the most when he just shines light on these oddity characters within comic books. And he's trying to get in on that before Marvel does with their whole Midnight Suns, Howling Commandos group that they're forming between Blade, Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night, Man-Thing. Like, James is noticing that, and he's like, yeah, let me get a piece of that before Marvel does that first, right? And he's going the different route of, let me just drop a whole bunch of characters together with voice actors who can double as the actual actors for these shows. And what's genius now that I think about it is that all of these characters can essentially, whether or not they look like the character, whether, let's say, homeboy that's playing Whitebeard Captain America here, you know, let's say he's not the best in shape, right? Let's say he's not the proper height for the character, right? He's the one exception of the group. He's the one that actually has to be in shape for his role. Let's say Frankenstein isn't as tall as Frankenstein needs to be, right? In this project, suit him up, put him in a green screen suit, Hulk style. That's it. That's all. Same thing for every other character on this list, with the exception of this white Santa Claus looking dude, right? So I'm interested to see where I'm very interested in this Creatures Commando project. Like, I need to do my research into that. Now, he brings up the 4 projects that are coming out in 2023. as they start to reset and pave their way. He says and confirms that the Flash movie is going to be essential, and it's going to help reset everything that's going on. He says that he got lucky, which is interesting. I think the reason that he's saying he got lucky is because the 4 projects that are being released within the next year or so. I forget what's the other project that's being released. Let's see, DC 2023 movies. Fury of the Gods. Oh yeah, Blue Beetle, Aquaman Lost Kingdom, Shazam Fury of the Gods, and Flash. Shazam's always been very much isolated to himself. So if they wanted to, he could easily reboot everything and still keep the entire same cast, because they never showed anyone from the other movies in their universe. Any of them. Blue Beetle, yet to be seen. Aquaman Lost Kingdom, yet to be seen. Flash, yet to be seen. But Flash is probably going to help with the reset. And the Blue Beetle Aquaman movie, if they're not going to like soft reboot them and use those previous movies as like, yeah, this is canon to what we're doing right now, right? Then they're close enough of a circuit. Aquaman didn't have any interactions with any of the Justice League members from the previous movie. And they only mentioned the fact that Mera gave him a trident previously in the last movie. Right? They didn't even mention Steppenwolf, if I'm not mistaken. Blue Beetle, I can't see why that wouldn't be a closed circuit. What connections does he have to the rest of the DC universe at this point? I've talked way too much about this. I can't wait to see this project. I really can't wait to see this. All of these projects that he's listed out, he's given us, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 projects to be excited for. And he's saying that these are only a handful. These 10 projects are just the start of the first phase that he's calling Gods and Monsters. And it fits. Swamp Thing, monster. Supergirl, given the fact that he's showing an image of her with a sword covered in blood, I'm going to go with monster. What is it? Booster Gold, I don't know yet. Batman, I don't know yet. He kind of fits outside of, he's like the irony of it, that he works alongside Gods and Monsters constantly, but he's just a dude, right? Themyscira, the Amazons, gods. The Lantern Corps, gods. Superman, god. What is it? Amanda Waller, monster. Commandos, monster. So we're seeing all these projects that he's got lined up, and it's like, this is going to be fun. This is going to be so interesting to see. I'm excited for it. I applaud him for his canonicity, not canonicity, but candidness on screen about, hey, there's some stuff that went on before I got here, but I'm here now. We're going to reset everything. These are the movies you can expect, but they're not going to have nothing to do with what we got going on in the future. What we do got going on is this. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. How you like me now? This is going to be fun. Very fun projects. James freaking Gunn, man.